The snow on Mount Everest turned red with human blood. Captain Elena Vasquez pressed her back against the cold metal wall of the research station. Her rifle felt heavy in her hands. Around her, the bodies of her soldiers lay still in the white snow. She was the last one alive. The alien ships filled the sky like dark clouds. Their weapons made a humming sound that hurt her ears. Elena looked at her watch. It had been 12 hours since the final attack began. 12 hours since the HFY decided to finish what they started 3 years ago. Commander Torres, do you copy? Elena spoke into her radio. Only static answered her. She tried again. Anyone from Base 7, please respond. Nothing. The silence told her everything she needed to know. She was alone. The HFY were winning everywhere. Earth was dying. The blue planet that humans called home was becoming a factory for the aliens. They took everything, trees, animals, people. They turned it all into fuel for their war machines. Elena had seen the reports before the communication networks failed. New York was gone. London was gone. Tokyo was gone. Billions of people were dead. She pulled out a small metal chip from her pocket. The words, Project Lazarus, were written on it in tiny letters. Elena did not know what it meant. Her grandfather had given it to her before he died. He was a scientist who worked on secret government projects. He told her to keep it safe. He said it was important, but he never explained why. When the last human falls, use this, he had whispered to her with his dying breath. The code is in your blood, Elena. Your DNA is the key. At the time, she thought he was talking nonsense. Old men said strange things when they were dying. But now, with alien footsteps getting closer to her hiding place, she wondered if there was truth in his words. The metal door exploded inward. 3 HFY soldiers stepped through the smoke. They were tall creatures with gray skin and 4 arms. Their black eyes had no mercy in them. They spoke to each other in their clicking language. Elena could not understand the words. But she knew they were talking about her. She raised her rifle and fired. The first alien fell. The second one moved faster than she expected. Its plasma weapon burned through her shoulder. Elena screamed but kept shooting. The third alien's shot hit her in the chest. Elena fell to her knees. Blood filled her mouth. The aliens walked toward her, their weapons ready to finish her. She looked at the chip in her hand. It felt warm against her skin. Somehow, she knew what to do. I am Elena Maria Vasquez, she whispered. Daughter of Carlos Vasquez, granddaughter of Dr. Miguel Vasquez. My blood carries the key to humanity's future. The chip began to glow. A soft blue light came from inside it. The aliens stopped walking. They looked confused. They had never seen human technology do this before. Lazarus protocol activated, Elena said louder. Authorization confirmed. DNA match verified. Awakening sequence begins now. The light from the chip grew brighter. Elena felt her strength leaving her body. The aliens raised their weapons, but it was too late. The chip sent out a signal that moved faster than light itself. It traveled down through the mountain, through the earth, through layers of rock and metal, until it reached something that had been sleeping for 300 years. Far below the ocean. In the deepest part of the world, machines that had waited in darkness began to wake up. Computer systems that had been silent for centuries suddenly came alive. Warning lights started blinking in empty rooms. The sound of motors filled the underwater base. Elena smiled as the alien weapons fired their final shots. She had done it. She had kept her promise to her grandfather. As her vision grew dark, she heard a sound that made her heart happy. It was the sound of something big and powerful waking up, something that would make the aliens sorry they ever came to Earth. 2. Chip fell from her dead hand onto the bloody snow. Its blue light slowly faded away. But the signal had already done its work. Deep in the ocean, 12 sleeping warriors opened their eyes for the first time in 3 centuries. They had been waiting for this moment. They had been dreaming of the day when Earth would need them most. The Vex-High soldiers looked at Elena's body. They kicked the strange glowing chip into the snow. To them, it was just another piece of broken human technology. They had no idea that they had just witnessed the beginning of their own end. One of the aliens spoke into his communication device. "Target eliminated," he said in his clicking language. "The human resistance is finished. Earth belongs to the collective now." But he was wrong. Elena Vasquez was not the last human. She was just the first to die in a war that was about to begin. The real soldiers of humanity were just waking up. They had been sleeping in the deep, waiting for someone to call them home. Now that call had come. The wind on Mount Everest carried Elena's last breath away into the sky. But her sacrifice was not in vain. 300 years of preparation was about to pay off. The Vex-High thought they had conquered a weak species. They were about to learn that humans always had one more trick to play. In the depths of the ocean, powerful eyes opened in the darkness. Hands that could crush steel slowly formed into fists. Hearts that beat with superhuman strength began to pump enhanced blood through perfect bodies. The Guardians of Earth were awake. The aliens had won the first war, but they did not know that the second war was about to begin. And this time, humanity would not be fighting with ordinary soldiers. This time, they would fight with their ultimate weapons. Warriors who had been made perfect. Warriors who knew no fear. Warriors who would never stop until every alien invader was dead. Elena's grandfather had been right. The code was in her blood. And that blood had unlocked something that would shake the galaxy. The last human had fallen, but Earth's real defenders were just getting started. 200 meters below the ocean floor, in the deepest trench on Earth, something stirred in the darkness. The Mariana Research Facility had been built in secret 3 centuries ago. No government on Earth officially knew it existed. Only a few scientists and military leaders had been told about Project Lazarus. The facility was huge. It stretched for miles under the ocean floor. Most of it was dark and empty now, but in the center, 12 special chambers began to glow with soft blue light. These were not ordinary rooms. They were the most advanced life support systems ever built by human hands. Inside each chamber, a perfect human form floated in thick liquid. They had been sleeping for 300 years. Their bodies had not aged a single day. Special chemicals kept them young and strong while they dreamed. These were the Guardians of Earth, humanity's ultimate soldiers. The liquid began to drain from the first chamber. A tall man opened his eyes. His name was Marcus Stone, and he was their leader. His body was different from normal humans. His muscles were stronger. His bones were harder. His blood carried special cells that could heal any wound. His mind could think faster than any computer. Marcus stepped out of his chamber onto the cold, metal floor. Water dripped from his naked body. He felt the cold, but it did not bother him. His enhanced body could survive in space or at the bottom of the ocean. Temperature was just information to him now. All around him, 11 other chambers opened. His team was waking up. Sarah Chen was the first to join him. She was small and quick, with eyes that could see in total darkness. Her specialty was stealth and infiltration. She could walk through enemy lines without being detected. Next came David Ram, the explosives expert. His hands could build bombs from simple materials, but his real gift was his ability to destroy things without harming innocent people. He could bring down a building and leave the family photos on the table unbroken. Viktor Petrov stepped out of his chamber with a smile. He was the team's sniper. His enhanced eyes could see targets from miles away. His hands never shook. His bullets never missed. He had once killed an enemy soldier from 12 miles away with a single shot. The others followed. 12 perfect warriors, each with their own special skills. They had been volunteers once, long ago. Normal soldiers who agreed to become something more than human. The process had changed their bodies and their minds, but it had not changed their hearts. They still fought for the same things all humans fought for: home, family, freedom. Marcus walked to the central computer terminal. His enhanced brain interfaced directly with the machine. Information flowed into his mind like water. He saw everything that had happened while they slept: the first contact with the HFY, the failed peace talks, the long war, humanity's defeat. "Status report?" Sarah asked. Her voice was calm, but Marcus could hear the anger underneath. "Earth is occupied," Marcus said. "Human population reduced by 98%. Remaining survivors scattered across the galaxy. The HFY have been harvesting our planet for 3 years." Victor loaded his sniper rifle with smooth, practiced movements. "How many aliens?" "Approximately 50 million HFY military personnel on Earth, 2,000 ships in orbit, main command vessel positioned over New York." David cracked his knuckles. 50 million, you say? That seems like a fair fight." The others laughed. It was not normal laughter. It was the sound that apex predators made when they found prey. The Guardians had been created for one purpose: to protect Earth when normal humans could not. They had trained for every possible scenario. Alien invasion was their specialty. Marcus accessed more files. He found Elena's final transmission, the brave captain who had activated them. He watched her die on Mount Everest while delivering the activation code. Her sacrifice had awakened them. Now it was time to make that sacrifice mean something. "The HFY think they've won," Marcus said. "They believe human resistance is finished. They're about to learn how wrong they are." Sarah studied tactical data on her personal display. "Their security is relaxed. They're not expecting any organized opposition. Most of their forces are involved in harvesting operations." "Perfect," Victor said. "Overconfident enemies make the best targets." Marcus outlined their mission parameters. Each Guardian would operate independently, 12 simultaneous strikes across the globe. Maximum disruption to enemy operations. No mercy for invaders. They moved to the equipment chambers. 300 years of technological advancement waited for them. Weapons that could penetrate any armor, stealth suits that bent light around them, communication devices that worked faster than any alien technology. The Guardians dressed in silence. Each piece of equipment was perfectly calibrated to their enhanced bodies. Their weapons felt natural in their hands. They had trained with these tools before their long sleep. Muscle memory was stronger than conscious thought. "Remember," Marcus said as they prepared to leave, "we are not just soldiers anymore. We are the continuation of the human spirit. Every alien we kill brings our species one step closer to freedom. Every base we destroy sends a message across the galaxy. Humanity is not extinct." The facility's exit tunnel led directly to the ocean floor. The Guardians could survive underwater without breathing apparatus. Their enhanced lungs could extract oxygen from water like gills. They swam upward through the darkness, moving faster than dolphins. At the surface, they separated. Each Guardian had their own target. Sarah headed for the orbital elevators in former Japan. Victor made his way toward the harvesting plants in Europe. David went to the weapon factories in South America. Marcus chose the hardest target for himself: the main command ship above New York, Admiral Korthak's personal vessel, the brain of the entire invasion force. If he could reach the alien commander, he could cripple their operations across the planet. As they swam away from each other, the Guardians carried with them the hopes of every human who had ever lived. They were no longer just 12 enhanced soldiers. They were the fury of an entire species made flesh. They were the nightmare that would haunt alien dreams for generations to come. The HFY had made one crucial mistake. They assumed that defeating human armies meant defeating humanity itself. They did not understand that humans always kept something in reserve, something hidden, something waiting for the moment when all hope seemed lost. That moment had arrived. The Guardians were awake. The real war was about to begin. The Earth the Guardians found was not the world they remembered. Where cities once stood, massive alien factories now dominated the landscape. The HFY had turned the planet into a giant machine designed to consume everything and turn it into fuel for their empire. Sarah Chen emerged from the Pacific Ocean near what used to be Tokyo. The city was gone. In its place, a towering metal structure reached into the clouds. It was an orbital elevator used to transport processed materials from Earth to the alien ships above. Thousands of HFY workers moved around its base like ants. Sarah activated her stealth suit. Light bent around her body, making her invisible to both eyes and sensors. She moved across the wasteland that had once been home to 37 million people. Now only aliens walked here. The elevator's base was heavily guarded, but the aliens were not expecting an attack. They had grown lazy during 3 years of easy occupation. Their weapons were not ready. Their attention was focused on their work, not on security. Sarah reached the main support column without being detected. Her enhanced fingers found tiny cracks in the alien metal. She began to climb, moving up the inside of the structure like a spider. Her destination was the control center, 200 meters above the ground. Meanwhile, Victor Petrov lay on a hill overlooking the former city of Paris. The Eiffel Tower was gone, replaced by a massive harvesting plant that consumed everything in its path. Trees, buildings, soil, rocks. The machine ate it all and processed it into a gray paste that was shipped to alien factories. Victor's enhanced eyes studied the plant's weak points. His sniper rifle was loaded with special ammunition designed to penetrate alien armor. He did not need to destroy the entire facility. He just needed to hit the right spot at the right time. Through his scope, he watched alien supervisors directing the operation. They felt safe behind their force fields and guard towers. They had no idea that death was watching them from 5 miles away. Victor took a deep breath and held it. His finger squeezed the trigger. The bullet flew through the air faster than sound. It struck the main reactor core with perfect precision. The explosion that followed could be seen from space. In South America, David Ram studied a massive weapon factory built on the ruins of Rio de Janeiro. The aliens were mass-producing plasma rifles and armor for their expanding empire. This factory alone could equip 1 million soldiers every month. David did not use explosives for this mission. Instead, he used something much more dangerous: chemistry. He had spent the night mixing common industrial chemicals found around the factory. The result was a compound that would turn the aliens' own materials against them. He slipped past the guards like a ghost. His enhanced body made no sound as he moved through the corridors. He reached the main production line and poured his chemical mixture into the metal processing tanks. Within minutes, every weapon being manufactured began to malfunction. Plasma rifles exploded in alien hands. Armor plating cracked and fell apart. The factory's own security systems turned on the workers. Across the planet, similar attacks were happening simultaneously. The Guardians struck with surgical precision, destroying key installations while avoiding unnecessary damage to what remained of Earth's environment. They were not just soldiers, they were Earth's immune system, eliminating the infection that threatened their world. But the most daring mission belonged to Marcus Stone. While his team attacked ground targets, he had infiltrated the main command ship floating above New York. The massive vessel was 5 kilometers long and carried 50,000 alien soldiers. Marcus had swum to the surface of the Hudson River and climbed the ship's anchor chains. His stealth suit made him invisible to the hundreds of sensors that covered the hull. He cut through the metal skin of the ship using tools designed for this exact purpose. Inside the ship, alien corridors stretched in every direction. The air was thick with the smell of their technology, a mixture of chemicals and ozone that would poison normal humans. Marcus's enhanced lungs filtered out the toxins automatically. He made his way toward the command center, following mental maps downloaded before his mission. Every step was calculated. Every movement was silent. The aliens he passed did not know that death walked among them. Admiral Korthak stood in his command chamber reviewing reports from across the planet. He was pleased with the progress of the harvesting operations. Earth was proving to be very profitable. Soon they would move on to the next world, leaving behind only an empty rock. "Admiral," one of his officers said, "we're receiving strange reports from our ground installations. Several facilities have suffered malfunctions or accidents." Korthak's 4 arms moved over his control panels. "Show me." The main display showed feeds from around Earth. The orbital elevator in Japan was collapsing. The harvesting plant in France was exploding. The weapon factory in Brazil was in chaos. "This cannot be coincidence," Korthak said. His black eyes narrowed with suspicion. "Are there still human resistance fighters we haven't found?" Before his officer could answer, the lights in the command center went out. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. Alarm signals began blaring throughout the ship. "What is happening?" Korthak demanded. "Unknown, Admiral. All our sensors show normal readings, but something is definitely wrong." Marcus stepped out of the shadows behind them. His stealth suit deactivated, revealing his tall figure. He held a weapon that no alien had ever seen before, a rifle that fired pure energy at the speed of light. "Allow me to explain," Marcus said in perfect HFY language. His enhanced brain had learned their tongue from intercepted communications. "My name is Marcus Stone. I represent the real defenders of Earth, and you, Admiral, are under arrest for the crime of genocide." The aliens in the command center reached for their weapons, but they moved too slowly. Marcus was no longer just human. He was something faster, stronger, and far more dangerous. His rifle fired 12 times in 2 seconds. 12 aliens fell dead before any of them could draw their guns. Only Admiral Korthak remained alive. Marcus wanted him to understand what was happening before he died. "Impossible," the alien admiral whispered. "We destroyed all human military forces. We control this planet." "You controlled the humans you could see," Marcus replied. "But we were sleeping in the deep places, waiting for someone to wake us up. A brave captain named Elena Vasquez gave her life to activate us. Now we're going to return the favor by taking yours." Korthak's 4 hands moved frantically over his control panels, trying to call for help, but Marcus had already disabled the ship's communication systems. No one was coming to save the Admiral. "Your empire made a mistake," Marcus continued. "You thought defeating our armies meant defeating us, but humans don't give up that easily. We always have one more trick to play, one more card to lay on the table. You just met our final card." The rifle fired one last time. Admiral Korthak fell to the floor of his own command chamber. The leader of the invasion was dead. His empire's greatest victory had become its greatest defeat. Outside the ship, the sky began to change. Alien vessels throughout the solar system were receiving new orders. Orders that came not from their dead admiral, but from the Guardian, who now controlled their flagship. Marcus had learned everything he needed to know from the ship's computers. The hunt was just beginning. News of Admiral Korthak's death spread through the HFY fleet like poison. General Mextar, the second in command, took control from his ship orbiting Jupiter. He was a veteran of 100 wars and had never seen anything like this. 12 targets striking simultaneously across Earth with impossible precision. It was not random terrorism. It was coordinated warfare by an enemy they had never encountered. "How many of these enhanced humans are there?" Mextar demanded from his subordinates. "Unknown, General. Our sensors detected no large military formations. These appear to be individual operators working alone." 12 individuals destroyed 50 installations in 6 hours. Yes, General. Each target was hit with perfect timing and maximum effectiveness. The orbital elevator collapse alone killed 3,000 of our workers. Mextar studied the tactical data with growing unease. The humans they had fought before were brave but predictable. These new enemies moved like shadows and struck like lightning. Their technology was more advanced than anything in the Vex-High databases. On Earth's surface, the Guardians regrouped at predetermined coordinates. They met in the ruins of London, where Big Ben's clock tower had been replaced by an alien communication array. The 12 warriors stood in a circle, their enhanced bodies showing no signs of fatigue despite 6 hours of continuous combat. Phase 1 complete, Marcus reported. Command structure disrupted. Orbital defenses compromised. Ground installations reduced by 40%. Sarah wiped alien blood from her knife. They're starting to organize a response. Increased patrols. Tighter security protocols. They're taking us seriously now. Good, Victor said, reloading his rifle. I was getting bored with easy targets. David pulled up holographic displays showing real-time intelligence from captured alien networks. They're pulling back from harvesting operations to defend key positions. But look at this. The display showed something that made all 12 Guardians stop talking. General Mextar was activating something called the Scorched Earth Protocol. Instead of trying to defeat the Guardians, he was going to destroy the planet completely. Bioprocessing. Plants are being converted to atmospheric processors, David continued. They're going to poison Earth's air and water. If they can't have the planet, they'll make sure nothing else can live here either. Marcus felt something change inside his chest. A cold anger that he had never experienced before. The aliens were not just invading his world anymore. They were trying to murder it completely. Every tree, every river, every piece of life that made Earth beautiful would die. Emergency protocols are now in effect, Marcus announced. His voice carried a tone that his team had never heard before. Limiters are removed. Full enhancement activation is authorized. The other Guardians nodded grimly. They had hoped it would not come to this. The limiters in their bodies were safety devices that kept their enhancements under control. With those restrictions removed, they would become something beyond human. Something that could not return to normal life after the war was over. But Earth was dying. They had no choice. Sarah was the first to activate the full enhancement sequence. Her small body began to change. Her muscles became denser. Her bones grew harder. Her nervous system rewired itself for impossible speed. When the transformation was complete, she could move faster than human eyes could follow. Victor's enhancement focused on his senses and precision. His eyes could now see individual particles in the air. His hands became steadier than any machine. His mind calculated trajectory and wind resistance automatically. He had become a living weapon of perfect accuracy. David's changes were different. His brain expanded its capacity for chemistry and physics. He could look at any material and instantly know how to destroy it. His hands could build explosives from dirt and water. He had become the embodiment of controlled destruction. The others underwent their own transformations. Each Guardian became a specialist in their field, enhanced beyond the limits of biology or technology. They were no longer human soldiers with special equipment. They were forces of nature shaped like people. Marcus felt his own changes beginning. His body grew larger and stronger. His mind expanded to process information from a dozen sources simultaneously. His heart began pumping enhanced blood that carried nanobots designed to repair any damage instantly. He became something that could not be killed by conventional weapons. Remember, he told his team as their transformations completed. We are still fighting for humanity. We may not be human anymore, but we carry their hopes inside us. Every alien we kill brings our species closer to freedom. The enhanced Guardians spread across the planet like a plague of vengeance. They no longer moved like soldiers. They moved like natural disasters with intelligence and purpose. Sarah reached the main atmospheric processing plant in former Australia. in 30 minutes. She did not bother with stealth anymore. She walked through the main gate, her enhanced body moving too fast for the guards to target. Her weapons cut through alien armor like paper. She reached the central core and began dismantling it with her bare hands. Victor positioned himself on a mountain in the Himalayas and began systematic elimination of alien command personnel across 3 continents. His enhanced vision could see targets from incredible distances. His rifle fired bullets that could punch through starship hulls. Every shot removed another piece of the invasion's leadership. David reached the alien fuel depot in former Egypt and began the largest explosion in human history. He mixed local sand with alien reactor cores to create a blast that could be seen from orbit. The fireball consumed everything within 50 kilometers and sent a mushroom cloud into the atmosphere. But it was Marcus who delivered the most devastating blow. He returned to the command ship above New York, no longer bothering to hide his presence. The aliens saw him coming and fired everything they had: plasma cannons, missile batteries, energy weapons designed to crack planets. Nothing touched him. Marcus walked through the ship's corridors like an unstoppable force of nature. Bulkhead doors could not contain him. Weapon fire could not harm him. Security forces fell before him like wheat before a harvester. He was no longer infiltrating the ship. He was conquering it. When he reached the new command center, he found General Stor waiting with his personal guard. The alien general held a device that would trigger every remaining atmospheric processor simultaneously. "Stay back, human monster," Stor threatened. "One more step and I destroy your entire world." Marcus smiled. It was not a human expression anymore. It was the smile of something that had evolved beyond mercy. "Go ahead," Marcus said. "Destroy the atmosphere, poison the oceans, turn Earth into a dead rock. Do you know what will happen then?" Stor's 4 hands trembled as he held the trigger device. "I'll hunt down every member of your species in the galaxy," Marcus continued. "Every world you've conquered, every ship you've built, every alien that carries Vex-High DNA. I'll become their nightmare. I'll be the monster that follows them through the darkness between stars. And when I'm finished, the Vex-High will be nothing but a story that other species tell their children to scare them." The alien general looked into Marcus's enhanced eyes and saw something that made his blood freeze. This was not a bluff. This was a promise from something that had the power to keep it. Stor's hands slowly lowered the trigger device. "What do you want?" "Your surrender," Marcus replied. "Complete withdrawal from Earth. Reparations for the damage you've caused. And a guarantee that no alien force will ever threaten this world again." The general's pride warred with his survival instinct. "Survival 1. The collective accepts your terms," he whispered. The war was over. But the Guardians knew they could never return to being human. They had become something else to save their world. Now they would spend eternity making sure it stayed saved. 6 months after the last Vex-High ship left Earth's solar system, Marcus Stone stood on a hill overlooking the ruins of Washington, D.C. The alien factories were gone, dismantled by Guardian teams who worked tirelessly to restore their world. Where harvesting plants once poisoned the soil, new grass was beginning to grow. The cleanup was not easy. 3 years of alien occupation had left Earth scarred and broken. Entire ecosystems had been destroyed. Cities had been reduced to raw materials. The atmosphere itself carried toxins that would take decades to neutralize completely. But the planet was healing. And more importantly, humanity was coming home. The first refugee ships arrived from the Andromeda colonies 3 months ago. Humans, who had fled during the early days of the invasion, returned to find their world defended by 12 enhanced warriors who had become legends throughout the galaxy. The stories spread faster than the ships themselves. Earth's guardians, the soldiers who could not die, the protectors who would never rest. Sarah approached Marcus across the hill. Her enhanced senses detected his mood before she spoke. "The Antarctic facility is ready," she reported. "DNA samples from the deep vaults are stable. The cloning chambers are operational." Marcus nodded. This was perhaps their most important project. During the war, they had discovered secret research, facilities built by human scientists centuries ago. These underground complexes contained genetic samples from millions of humans who had lived before the invasion. Using advanced cloning technology, they could restore the species to its pre-war population. "How many are ready for activation?" Marcus asked. "The first 1,000. Children who will grow up in a world protected by guardians. They'll never know the fear that their ancestors experienced." Victor's voice came through their communication system. "Incoming ships from the Kepler colonies. 300,000 refugees requesting permission to return home." "Granted," Marcus replied. "Direct them to Settlement Area 7. David has the infrastructure ready." The refugee ships were arriving faster now. Word was spreading through human colonies across the galaxy that Earth was safe again, that the impossible had happened, that humanity's homeworld had been reclaimed from invaders who seemed unstoppable. Many of the returning humans were confused by what they found. Earth was not the same world they remembered. It was guarded by beings who looked human but moved, like forces of nature. Warriors who spoke softly but carried weapons that could destroy starships. Protectors who smiled kindly at children but made alien ambassadors tremble with fear. Are they still human? Refugees often asked each other in whispered conversations. The answer was complicated. The Guardians retained their human memories, emotions, and values. They cared about the same things humans had always cared about: family, home, freedom, the future of their species. But their bodies and minds had been enhanced far beyond human limitations. They could survive in space without protection. They could think faster than computers. They could heal from wounds that would kill normal people. Most importantly, they could not die of old age. The enhancements that made them superhuman also made them immortal. While the humans they protected would live normal lifespans, the Guardians would continue their watch forever. Dr. Elizabeth Harper was among the returning refugees. She had been a xenobiologist before the war and now served as Earth's primary liaison with returning human populations. She often spoke with the Guardians about the philosophical implications of their transformation. "Do you ever regret what you became?" she asked Marcus during one of their conversations. Marcus considered the question carefully. "We gave up our humanity to save humanity," he said. "That trade seemed fair at the time. It still does. But you'll never have normal lives. You'll never grow old with someone you love. You'll never have children. You'll watch every human you care about die while you continue living." "Yes," Marcus admitted. "But they'll die free. Their children will grow up on a world that belongs to them. That's worth any sacrifice." The Guardians had become more than just Earth's military defenders. They were its caretakers, its guides, and its eternal sentinels. They helped design new cities that worked in harmony with the recovering ecosystem. They shared technology that would improve human lives without threatening the planet's health. They trained new generations of defenders who could protect specific regions while the Guardians handled larger threats. And threats were still coming. The Vex High defeat had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Other alien empires were reconsidering their expansion plans. Some sought peaceful contact with the newly powerful human species. Others began plotting revenge for their fallen allies. The Guardians were ready for all of them. Long-range sensors detect 3 alien fleets approaching from different sectors, Sarah reported during their weekly strategy meeting. Korthak Empire, Zephyr Collective, and something we've never seen before. "Hostile intent?" Victor asked, already reaching for his rifle. "Unknown. The Korthak and Zephyr ships are requesting diplomatic contact. The unknown fleet is maintaining communication silence." Marcus studied the tactical displays, even enhanced. As they were, 12 Guardians could not defend Earth against multiple simultaneous invasions, but they no longer needed to fight alone. "Contact Admiral Chen," Marcus ordered. "Tell her to prepare the new Terra Defense Fleet for possible engagement." and activate the orbital defense platforms. The New Terra defense fleet was composed of human refugees who had chosen to remain in space as Earth's first line of defense. Their ships used technology reverse-engineered from captured Vex-High vessels and improved by Guardian innovations. They were not as individually powerful as the enhanced warriors, but they represented something equally important: a human military force that could operate independently. Earth was no longer dependent on 12 immortal protectors. It was becoming a fortress world capable of defending itself while the Guardians handled the most dangerous threats. As the alien fleets approached, Marcus felt a sense of satisfaction that he had not experienced since awakening from his long sleep. Earth was strong again. Humanity was growing again. The species that had once faced extinction now stood ready to defend not just their own world, but potentially others who needed protection from galactic predators. The refugees who had returned from distant colonies brought stories of other species who were suffering under alien oppression. Worlds that had been conquered just as Earth had been conquered. People who needed help that only Earth's guardians could provide. "After we deal with these fleets," Marcus said to his team, "I think it's time we expanded our mission parameters." "You mean leave Earth?" David asked. "Hunt down the oppressors instead of waiting for them to come to us?" "Exactly. We've proven that enhanced humans can defeat any alien military force. Why limit ourselves to protecting just one world? The galaxy is full of species that need liberation." Sarah smiled. It was the expression of a predator who had just found new hunting grounds. "The Guardians of Earth become the Guardians of the Galaxy?" "Why not?" Marcus replied. "We've got time. We've got power. And we've got a score to settle with anyone who thinks they can conquer innocent worlds." As the alien fleets drew closer to Earth, the Guardians prepared for battle. But this time, they were not fighting for humanity's survival. They were fighting to establish humanity's place as the galaxy's protectors. The species that had almost been destroyed was about to become the galaxy's new apex predator. Elena Vasquez had died to activate 12 sleeping warriors. Those warriors had saved Earth and transformed into something beyond human imagination. Now they would carry their mission to the stars themselves, ensuring that no species would ever again face the terror of extinction. The last human had fallen, but from her sacrifice had risen something eternal, something unstoppable, something that would guard the galaxy until the end of time itself.